Whenever I'm about to pop in a movie from my childhood that I haven't seen since I was like 10 or, around that general age range, I always try to recall, what do I remember about this movie that I'm about to watch? When it comes to my childhood movies, Disney movies especially, I have a pretty good memory for the details in every movie. Like, I can remember how the plot goes, I remember certain lines, I can even remember certain specific moments. Hell, even in some of the more forgettable or more widely considered forgettable Disney movies like the Aristocats, hell, I even remember a lot of the details in movies like that. But when it comes to the Aristocats, I mostly remember the villain and that weird-ass old guy on the stairs. Pocahontas, on the other hand? Nothing. Like, I literally remember absolutely nothing about this movie. Or, well, I remember a few things. Like, I remember Colors of the Wind, I remember Savages, and, I remember, the raccoon. I remember the raccoon, I think. But aside from those few things, like, yeah, I can't remember a goddamn thing about this movie. Which is kind of strange, because I did watch this movie quite a few times when I was a kid, or at least I think I did. But, yeah, can't recall anything about it. I mean, when I went into Pocahontas for this video, it was like watching the movie for the very first time, knowing only a few sparse details here and there. And that could be because, well, there really isn't that much worth remembering in the movie anyway. Watching the movie again, there really isn't a whole lot about it that's memorable, aside from a couple of the songs and perhaps the relationship between the two main leads. Now, I did like the movie, but most of it is rather forgettable. So I guess let's start off with the things that actually were memorable. Namely the songs, or rather, 3 of them. Alan Menken once again does the music and the songs for Pocahontas, but this time around, he disappoints me. Like, aside from one really good song at the beginning, or is it 2? Well, aside from 1 or 2 really good songs at the beginning, and the 2 songs that I already mentioned, the songs in this movie, yeah, they just aren't really that good. The beginning song, or songs, are a great way to start off the movie. They're catchy, and they introduce us to the 2 opposing forces of the movie greatly. Colors of the Wind is by far the best scene in the entire movie. The animation is top-notch, and I really love the message of the song. Savages is just another catchy little menacing tune with a lot of dramatic power behind it. And once again, the animation is awesome during this sequence. The rest of the songs, well, I can't quite put my finger on why, but they just don't do much for me. And actually, I think one of the strongest elements of the movie is the relationship between the 2 main leads, Pocahontas and John Smith. Like, yeah, I mean, I was actually really interested and invested in their relationship. And they actually managed to squeeze in a few good jokes here and there. Their interactions are great. But the scene that takes the cake is the scene where, like, they meet for the first time. Like, it's just a wickedly compelling visual scene. So that's what I thought was good about the movie. The rest, well, let me just start with this. Fuck those characters! Okay, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh. But yeah, if there's one thing I could have done entirely without in this movie, it's the animal side characters like the raccoon and the hummingbird. A lot of the times it just seems the movie just stops entirely to give them some oh so hilarious antics. It doesn't work. For me at least. And approaching the end of the movie, the message really starts to get forced. Or, well, yeah, near the end of the movie, give or take. Or maybe even long before that.
And though I do like that song, this is the point where the movie's message of don't judge people that are different and blah 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 kind of start to get face-palmingly forced. Not that it's a bad message, mind you, but it's just kind of been here, done that, you know? And the central conflict of the movie was just wrapped up far too neatly because of it. Speaking of which, Governor Ratcliffe, the villain, started out interesting at the beginning of the movie. He had a great voice, he was rather hilarious with his gold lust, but by the middle and end of the movie, the gimmick got old. His gold fetish was his only motive, and that's all that drives his actions. So the just he's a greedy asshole spin. I suppose it is rather realistic when you think about it, but it's just not that interesting for movies.
I mean, all around, Pocahontas isn't a bad movie. Like, by any stretch of the imagination. Like, there is a lot of good stuff in it, or, well, not a lot. Like, a few things. But aside from those, the movie just ain't that memorable. Or, at its very worst, is either annoying or incredibly forced. You know, I find it funny that this movie and The Lion King were being made back to back, and between those two movies, this was the movie that Disney was putting all their effort into. Like, they put all their money into it, they put all their advertising into it. A bunch of the crew of The Lion King left to go work on this movie. Like, this was the movie that Disney had faith in, well, actually had faith in, and this is the one that they wanted to be the major success. And yet, The Lion King was the one that ended up being the far more financially successful and far more universally loved movie. And when you watch this movie, well, it really isn't that hard to see why.
If you agree or disagree with this video, be sure to discuss in the comments section, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also be sure to check out my blog at The Critical Canucks at blogspot.ca, and also be sure to follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook, all that jazz. Links to all those are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be seeing you next time. Peace out, everybody.